Welcome to our Mary Greeley Primetime Alive presentation on Vitamins 101. I'm Vicki Newell with the Primetime Alive program here at Mary Greeley Medical Center. As a reminder, if you want more information about Primetime Alive, if you want to sign up for a class or join, you can go to mgmc.org/PTA. Sorry, my A dropped to the second line there, but that's one all the way across mgmc.org/PTA. All right, we have two presenters today. We have Ellen Heikens and we have Courtney Polka. Ellen is a graduate of Drake University College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. She has been a pharmacist at Mary Greeley Medical Center for 8 years. She has certifications in pharmacogenomics. Is that right? Yeah. Close. And anticoagulation, and is a preceptor for both pharmacy students and residents at Mary Greeley. And then Courtney is a graduate of Drake University College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences, and is currently a Mary Greeley Medical Center PGY1 pharmacy resident. So when you come up, Courtney, please tell us what PGY1 is. I'm guessing year one, but so please welcome Ellen and Courtney.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. I think you guys know me at this point. I'm Ellen. I'm one of the pharmacists here. And yeah, I was fortunate enough for Courtney to agree to come present with me on just general overview on vitamins. Today is what we're planning to talk about. So we have a few objectives. First of all, we're going to discuss how vitamin and supplement products are approved and regulated, and kind of compare that to maybe how prescription or over-the-counter medications are approved and regulated. We're going to play a little like bad cop, good cop. I'm going to talk about maybe some issues that are unique to vitamins, and then Courtney's going to talk about maybe potential benefits of vitamin products. We're going to talk about like maybe when a vitamin product might be indicated, and then throughout and more focus at the end, we're going to discuss some strategies to help you pick out some vitamin products, pick ones that are maybe more reliable or trustworthy or right for you. So just as a quick introduction, first and foremost, I tend to use vitamin supplement and dietary supplement interchangeably throughout the presentation. Just know that any of those terms, I'm talking about the same thing. In the next slide, we will kind of go over the definition, exactly what we're talking about with those. Again, it's just general information about vitamin and supplement products. My intention here is not to persuade people to take vitamins, neither is it to dissuade people from taking vitamins. It's just kind of information to help you decide if it's right for you. And then I don't endorse any specific vitamin or supplement products. It might come through some of my opinions about them, but again, those are just opinions. So what are vitamins and dietary supplements? There's really no universal definition. Different organizations will tell you different things, but really the general definition is that it's a product that you ingest and it's intended to add to or supplement your diet. So it's where the word supplements comes from. This encompasses a lot of things. Again, we're going to kind of focus on maybe more of our like tablet drink type vitamins and supplements, but it can be anything from like minerals, botanicals, teas, enzymes, probiotics, gummies, powders, drinks. Any of those things that claim to supplement your diet can technically be called a dietary supplement. The main thing about dietary supplements is that they're not intended to treat, diagnose, mitigate, prevent, or cure diseases, and that is universal throughout, and that's a pretty strict definition, as we'll talk about shortly here with the FDA. So just briefly, as far as natural products in medicine, it's actually estimated that about 25% of our modern drugs are derived from plants. Some good examples are, penicillin is famously made from like a mold, and our opiates, especially our older ones like morphine, come from opium, which is derived from the poppy plant. So there's definitely a place for natural products in medicine. They're actually very common. As you can see, almost 50% potentially can be from natural products. Just some real quick statistics on vitamin supplement use. Almost 60% of adults over age 18 have used a vitamin or supplement product in the last 30 days. And that use kind of goes up as we age. So over the age of 60, that's almost 70%. And actually, women are more likely to be using vitamin or supplement products. Also, as we get older, we tend to take more vitamin and supplement products. So almost a fourth of us are taking potentially 4 or more supplements at one time. The most common supplements that are used are generally multivitamins, and then vitamin D is another very common one that's used. So now let's get into it. How are vitamin and supplement products approved and regulated? This is the part where we kind of have to get into some laws and regulations. So the first one that we'll talk about is this Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act. This is from 1994, and this is still in place. Basically, it states that companies that make vitamin or supplement products are responsible for ensuring their own products are safely manufactured and also properly labeled. So that means that the FDA doesn't, on the front end, have the authority to approve the dietary supplements. They do have to show that the FDA that they are safe for ingestion. But other than that, they can be on the market without strict FDA approval. The FDA kind of comes in on the back end if a vitamin or supplement product is shown to be unsafe or not being manufactured properly. In that case, the FDA would step in and maybe shut down or recall the product. So as part of our Dietary Supplement Regulation Act, companies are required to follow good manufacturing practices. And this really requires that the vitamins are manufactured in a quality manner. They don't have adulterants or impurities. They're labeled accurately, which becomes more important as we'll talk about, and that the manufacturer evaluates the raw materials of the product. Again, all of this is dependent on the manufacturer kind of self-policing. The FDA really only comes in if they're shown to not be in compliance with this. So if you are really wanting some validation that your product is using good manufacturing practices, it's a good idea to pick a product that's maybe made by a company that also makes prescription medications. Those medications, the FDA does come and kind of scrutinize for the good manufacturing practices. So if they're also making vitamins, there's a good chance that those are already in place. Next, we'll talk about Dietary Supplement and Non-Prescription Drug Consumer Protection Act. This is basically where our FDA MedWatch comes from. So anybody that has a serious adverse event this applies to medications too, but adverse events to supplements, medications, anything like that, they can submit it to the FDA, and actually anyone can submit it to the FDA. It's just on this website here. So as far as approval of vitamins, vitamins really are under the umbrella of food products, according to the FDA. So they don't require upfront approval by the FDA to be on the market. Again, they do have to let the FDA know that they're going to be on the market, and they do have to show that they're safe for human ingestion. So you're thinking, yeah, very similar to a food product. Whereas our prescription and our over-the-counter medications are required to have certain purity and potency standards. They're required to have, a certain stated amount of drug that's matching what's on the label. Vitamins aren't necessarily held to the same standard. So really quick, I just have a comparison here. What makes a prescription over-the-counter medication different than a vitamin supplement product? Again, prescription and over-the-counter medications have to follow a pretty strict approval process. They do require clinical trials to show that not only are they safe to use, but also that they do something, they're efficacious. Again, they have to prove that they're safe and effective for their intended use, and they do have to prove that they do something for their intended use. Whereas a vitamin supplement product really doesn't have to prove anything. They just have to show that they're safe to be ingested. The FDA isn't scrutinizing them as carefully. Again, they have to meet standards more applied to food preparation than to, safety and efficacy standards that prescription medications would have to. Again, the FDA will do post-marketing surveillance, so they'll kind of audit different companies to see if they are following the good manufacturing practices. But again, it's really dependent a lot on self-policing, and only really if you're reported to be not in compliance is the FDA most likely going to step in. So really quick, let's talk about labeling of vitamins. Vitamin labels do have requirements that they have to meet. Again, like a food product, they do have to show a serving size. A lot of them have servings per container as well. They do have to show what each dietary ingredient is and the amount per serving. There is an exception for proprietary blends. They just have to show the ingredients in the order of amount. So the most ingredient is listed first all the way to the least, but they don't have to list exact percentages or amounts on their label. It does have to be made pretty clear that the product is a dietary supplement. It needs to be clearly stated on there. Generally, the manufacturer's name and place of business should be listed on there. And then any type of plant product should have not only the scientific name, but also the plant part that's used. So a lot of times it will have like the scientific name, the Latin name, and then the plant part that is used if they're really doing what they're supposed to. So really quick, I have here kind of an actual example of a vitamin or supplement label. So you can see kind of our requirements there. They do have the health claim that says it's a supplement product. It's not intended to treat or diagnose anything. There's an FDA disclaimer. So it clearly says that, the FDA has not approved this product for safety and efficacy. Again, on the right side there, you can see their serving size, percentage, daily value. And then if you look right there in the little corner, there's our GMP logo that shows that they're following good manufacturing practices. So as far as efficacy, what, do vitamins actually do? Really, to do the clinical trials required for prescription and over-the-counter medications to get improved costs a lot of money. To get really good data that really shows that your product is really the thing that's doing something requires large clinical trials, requires a lot of recruitment, data analysis, researchers, all those things. And so that can be pretty expensive. Vitamins are in a different category of their own. They don't require these efficacy studies to be on the market. So there's not really a good incentive for any of these companies to really do clinical trials or really show that the vitamin does anything. A lot of times they're going to be able to sell their vitamin without showing that, and it's going to be a lot cheaper for them. So that's kind of where a lot of the gray area comes in with vitamins. It can often be really difficult to find reliable data or really robust data to show that vitamins are really, fixing, treating, helping anything. There are a number of exceptions, and they're kind of just exactly what you think they would be. The products that are used very commonly, recommended very commonly, that your doctor maybe have told you to take. So it's not that all vitamin products are without data. It's just, most of them don't have a lot of incentive to. So if there's no data for a vitamin product, what exactly can the product claim to do? So this is where vitamins try to be really tricky. Again, they can claim that it promotes health, supports a body part or function. So they'll typically use these terms like boosts heart health or supports immune function, good for your immune system. So they're often very carefully worded so that they're not claiming that they do anything, but they're saying, potentially it could maybe possibly help with this. Again, they really can't make any claim to cure, treat, diagnose, mitigate, or prevent disease. That would require them to have data, like our good clinical trial data. So a lot of times they, again, get around it with this tricky wording and this FDA disclaimer that it's not been evaluated by the FDA for safety or efficacy. And so I've just kind of shown here very clearly, kind of once you know how the wording is on vitamin, it's a lot easier to spot and a lot easier to kind of identify these kind of workaround claims that they make. Again, so it can get really tricky. So if they say like supports healthy cholesterol, like that's totally fine. But then if they want to say like reduces cholesterol, they need data for that according to the FDA. And so that's a mislabeled vitamin. They cannot claim that. So now, again, I'm going to talk about a few issues that are unique to vitamins, and then I'm going to hand it off to Courtney, and she's going to talk about maybe some potential benefits of vitamins. So the first issue that we have usually with vitamin and supplement products is the variability of products. When a vitamin or supplement product is manufactured, the listed content in the label is actually the raw starting material. So that's, their powder or their tea or their extract before it goes through the manufacturing process. So the raw product variability, the different manufacturing processes, again, can lead to some variability in the final product. More often, plant-based products tend to have more variability. Again, plants all grow differently. Flowers aren't all the same size. Leaves aren't all the same size. They have different growing conditions, different weather. So it kind of makes sense that they be a little bit more variable. A good way to kind of get around this variability if you're looking at vitamin products is to just kind of go with a consistent manufacturer. So, like our Now Vitamins, if we always buy from Now Vitamins, we can consistently just buy from Now Vitamins, and we should get around the same. But if we buy like a Now vitamin and then a Nature Made and then, a Hy-Vee brand, we might find that we have more variability there. I really like this study. In 2023, a study came out where they studied actually gummy melatonin, and it was more directed at like children's gummy melatonin products. They found that 22 out of the 25 products that they looked at had different amount or, not within our acceptable limits than what was stated. And really, the quantity of melatonin ranged anywhere from 74 to over 300% of what was stated on the bottle. So again, variability is real. They're kind of looking into it more, but it is pretty early on. Another issue with vitamins is just how much they cost. U.S. approximately $45 billion gets spent on vitamins every year. A typical individual spends over $500 on vitamins and supplement products every year. And especially with things getting more and more expensive, especially groceries, where we're going to get our nice, healthy, nutritious foods that have a lot of the same nutrients and vitamins that we're trying to get from our vitamins. Just keeping an eye on the cost can be really important. Side effects is another issue that we can potentially have with vitamins. Again, like medications, a vitamin or supplement product can cause side effects. There's a little bit of a disclaimer. A lot of companies like to say, "Oh, it's natural, it's naturally occurring." But just because something is natural doesn't mean it's automatically safe. I always kind of think like, poison ivy's out in the wild naturally. We don't want to run into that. So just kind of keeping that in mind. Some very common side effects, just kind of more like our common drug side effects. Again, rash, fatigue, vomiting, diarrhea. Sometimes they cause difficulty urinating or maybe some muscle pain. Again, just like with drugs, the higher dose we take, the more likely we are to experience side effects. Nextly, we have some drug interactions. A lot of vitamin and supplement products can interact with our prescription medications. Typically, a drug interaction either causes our prescription medication to work better or worse. So a lot of times we're kind of undoing our prescription medication benefit with our vitamin product. So some really common ones that we see. St. John's wort, I think this is pretty famously in pharmacy school, everything interacts with St. John's wort. Again, it can speed up the breakdown of medications. And again, these are pretty consequential medications that it interacts with. So we do want to be really careful with our vitamin use. Ginkgo biloba and high dose vitamin E can make our blood thinning medications work better. And so increase our risk of bleeding. Whereas, taking a vitamin K vitamin, could interact with other blood thinners and maybe increase our risk of clotting or make our blood thinning medications not work as well. So there are some pretty consequential drug interactions with vitamin and supplement products. All right, this is kind of my favorite one to talk about is false advertising. So Federal Trade Commission requires that all advertising is truthful, it's not misleading, and it's based on scientific evidence. And if you look around online, really, the most false advertising claims come from something not being based on scientific evidence. So this becomes problematic really in those online spaces where it's even harder to regulate what's happening. Changes can be made. Things are happening so quickly online that the government really can't keep an eye on all of it. So they may start to list disease claims. They may fail to cite that FDA disclaimer that it's not intended to treat or diagnose a condition. A lot of times, really, it just lacks referenced information or really any kind of information to prove that it does anything at all. So here are the most common characteristics of fraudulent, misleading claims on vitamins. I'm not going to go through all of these, but I do have a couple of favorites that I see pretty commonly. Anything that says like detoxify, purify, really, we have a liver and kidneys that are really detoxifying our body, removing toxins. You're not going to get any more benefit from a vitamin than you do from your organs that are working. Using personal testimonials instead of having any type of evidence. This is something that I see all the time online. And, because I've been doing some research for this particular presentation, I get even more websites thrown at me. And yeah, this is pretty easy to spot when they just have like a million testimonials, but really no scientific evidence, no studies available, nothing that really actually shows that they do anything besides, somebody saying, oh, I took this at home and it fixed my asthma or repaired my gut, or a lot of claims like that I see. So here's some categories from the FDA that they cite as clearly problematic, where you're probably going to find the most likelihood that something's falsely advertised. Again, this slide I find pretty disheartening because usually these conditions are where people are the most desperate for help, the most desperate to, repair or help this condition. And so they're really just taking advantage of people's desperation to, sell kind of a product that may or may not do anything. So here I have some pretty famous court cases, citations from the FDA in the last 10 or 15 years. Again, this is for the old airborne advertisements. They used to say, can cure your cold, but they didn't have any evidence that showed that. So they have since rebranded. The new labels are within compliance, but that was a pretty famous one. Really, most of them came from weight loss products. So this green coffee extract, this even went all the way to being endorsed by Dr. Oz, but really there was no evidence that this did anything. This was pretty funny that, pomegranate juice was making all these claims that it was going to, help with cancer and heart disease and all these, again, conditions that we're really pretty desperate to help with. But again, it's pomegranate juice. There's nothing to show that it really does anything. And then the Sensa product claimed that you could just sprinkle it on your food like salt and it would help you lose weight. You didn't have to do any kind of diet or anything, which I found pretty unbelievable to begin with. But yeah, they were able to pretty quickly show that product didn't do anything either. So lastly, just a few other concerns with vitamins. Again, if we're taking vitamins or supplements in place of our medications or a healthy diet, that's where we really have a lot of robust evidence to treat and prevent disease. So we really want to focus on our prescription medications and our healthy diet for getting our health benefit. This is something I see every once in a while, is somebody exceeding the recommended daily allowance or taking more as directed. And a lot of times this comes from people taking a multivitamin and then taking several vitamin or supplement products on top of it. Then they're getting into 300-400% of their daily value, which sometimes is fine. A lot of times you just urinate it out. But like we talked about, our high dose vitamin A, having too much iron, that can be really damaging to our body. So we do want to kind of keep an eye on exactly how much vitamin we're taking. So with that, I'll hand it off to Courtney to talk about maybe some positives of vitamins or when they might be indicated.
Hello, I'm Courtney. I'm a PGY1 resident, and like Vicky asked, PGY1 means post-grad year 1. So I recently graduated in May from pharmacy school. And yes, I'm going to talk about when might vitamins be indicated for us. So first thing is, if you're vitamin deficient. Many of the vitamins and supplements that are marketed on the market come from the variety of foods that will be in a healthy diet. So if you can't get those foods and nutrients and vitamins from a healthy diet, you may need supplementation with vitamins. Some reasons why you might be deficient is restrictive diets or weight loss surgery. Another time that vitamins might be indicated is when they're prescribed or recommended by your doctor. Before you take any medications or before you take any vitamins or supplements, always talk to a doctor, healthcare provider, pharmacist to make sure that it's not going to interact with your other medications and that it's the right vitamin or supplement for you. Like Ellen said earlier, most vitamins and supplements on the market aren't often studied. However, there are some that help to manage health conditions that are more studied. So some of these vitamins would be CoQ10 or coenzyme 10 for heart health. That one may be beneficial for heart failure taken alongside your prescription medications. That one usually has minimal side effects. Then omega-3 fish oil, that one is shown to reduce triglyceride levels. That one does have a little bit more side effects, so stomach upset, belching, and usually like a fishy aftertaste. Then for muscle and joint aches, we have glucosamine chondroitin, and that's shown to decrease joint pain associated with mild to moderate arthritis. And some side effects of that one would be stomach upset, drowsiness, or headache. Then bone health. This is a pretty common one to take calcium and vitamin D together. That one helps improve bone strength and prevent bone loss, yeah. And then for pregnancy, it is recommended that patients take a folic acid supplement to decrease birth defects. And then they could take ginger if they would want to, if they are nauseous. So for vitamins, a lot of our data to support the use of vitamins comes from dietary data. So this data comes from when you eat food and you get those vitamins, it helps certain things. So the studies are not directly from the supplements, if that makes sense to everybody. So some ways to get vitamins without taking a supplement to implement into your diet, you could use red meat, poultry, eggs, fruits, green vegetables, or fortified bread or cereal to help increase your intake of iron. For calcium, you do yogurt, cheese, milk, salmon, leafy green vegetables. And for vitamin C, you could implement citrus fruits, potatoes, tomatoes, broccoli, bell peppers, strawberries, Brussels sprouts, a bunch of different fruits and vegetables. And then for vitamin D, fortified milk, fortified cereals, and fatty fish. So how do we select vitamin products? So first thing you want to ask, is this vitamin worth it? Before you can answer that question, you should always talk to your healthcare provider before taking any supplements. Ideally, we want to talk to a provider who is not selling these supplements to you directly. Some questions you may want to ask your provider would be, what are the potential benefits for me? Does it have any safety risks? What is the proper dose to take? How, when, and for how long to take it? And will it interact with any of my current medications that I take? like Ellen was saying earlier, manufacturers kind of police themselves to make sure that what they say is in the product is in the product. But manufacturers can pay outside companies to come in and offer quality testing and allow products that pass this quality testing to display a seal of quality assurance. And it is always good to pick vitamins that have these quality assurance seals, because then you know that the product is properly manufactured, contains the ingredients listed on the label, ingredient quantities are consistent, does not contain harmful levels of contaminants, but it doesn't guarantee efficacy of the product, just guarantees that what they say is in the bottle is in the bottle and that it is properly manufactured. So these are the 3 seals that would be on a vitamin label if it were to get this outside independent quality verification. So consumerlab.com, NSF International, and US Pharmacopoeia, or USP. So the one that's most likely on a lot of the medications or vitamins out there is the one at the bottom, the green one. We'll show an example of that. So all of these are examples of vitamins or supplements that have gotten these quality assurance seals. So you know that what they say is in the bottle, and that it has been properly manufactured, doesn't have harmful quantities of contaminants. So I'm going to talk about some specific supplement products that are pretty popular when working at a pharmacy to get asked about. First one is Prevagen. This manufacturer claims that Prevagen improves the memory. There's poor data to support efficacy, but it may be helpful in improving cognitive function and memory. On the website, the safety and efficacy studies are easily available, which is good because some vitamins do not have either of those. The clinical study did assess 218 people via computer tests, finding no statistically significant results over the entire study population. So efficacy may not be there, but it could be. And again, going off of what Ellen was saying, how often or how much money people are spending, this is $39 for 30 tablets. And that is for the regular strength. I believe the extra strength Prevagen is more than that. And Balance of Nature, this one is often advertised as well. It's a proprietary blend of 16 whole fruits and 15 whole vegetable ingredients. There's an optional third product called Fiber and Spice as well. With this one, there's no studies available on the website. I'm referencing Ellen a lot, but going back to what Ellen said, there's many testimonials on the website. Like she was saying, it may not be the best to base your vitamin or supplement based on testimonials, more wanting that safety and efficacy study. So there's none on these ones. And there's no third-party testing certification either. And these ones are pretty spendy. 30-day supply is around $90. And then Preservision, or vitamins for eyes. These ones have good data for use in macular degeneration. When I was working at a community pharmacy, I often got asked about them from people that were referred from their eye doctor to take these. The National Institute of Health, or the NIH, sponsored a study, or 2 different studies, ARIDS 1 and ARIDS 2, so age-related eye disease study 2. And they're pretty well studied, so large amount of participants, which is good. So there's good data for that. Not always appropriate for everybody with age-related macular degeneration, but just talk to your eye doctor before using. May be right for you. All right, and I'm going to give it back over to Ellen.
So we'll just wrap it up with some next steps, some more sources of information where you can kind of go beyond this presentation to look for information on vitamins. There are some really good websites online where you can look. First and foremost is the FDA. I think I said this too with the over-the-counter medications presentation, but I referenced the FDA quite a lot in this presentation. It's got really good, really clear information on how vitamin supplement products are regulated and how that's different from prescription or over-the-counter type medications. So if you're interested in reading more about that, you can definitely go there. The second website I really like, and I actually just learned about in preparing for this presentation, but the National Institutes of Health actually has a website for the Office of Dietary Supplements. And this is a pretty comprehensive list of vitamin and supplement products that are on the market. And it will take you to pretty good reliable data or kind of whatever data that's available from a reliable source. It should link you there from that website. So if you're curious about calcium or vitamin D, or even it goes into like colloidal silver or chelation products or, more niche things. A lot of the vitamins and supplements that were listed were ones that I had never heard of. So it's pretty comprehensive and it's a very good source of information. And again, it's a really easy way to get those fact sheets and actually find out like what information is out there about this vitamin. Again, because manufacturers and makers of vitamins aren't really incentivized to study them. Sometimes, you don't get a very satisfying answer from the fact sheet, but then you kind of do know, like, what's the official answer? Does this do anything? Does it maybe do something? Have they looked at it at all? And then lastly, the USDA also has kind of a fact sheet on nutrition and proper diet. So if you're more interested in trying to find out what are some dietary sources, again, those are a little bit usually easier for our body to absorb. Our body kind of knows better what to do with those rather than, tablets and powders. You can go there and kind of find out more information on maybe getting a vitamin or supplement more added to your diet. So finally, just a few bottom lines. Again, vitamin and supplement products are regulated differently. So just kind of being aware of those differences can help you know better kind of what you're doing with vitamins and know better how to select them. Same with prescription drugs. There's potential for side effects and drug interactions with supplement products. So just kind of run it by a healthcare provider if you're thinking about doing that for yourself. Vitamins and minerals that are in supplements, again, are generally found in a healthy and varied diet. Eating all your colors, getting, recommended amount of fruits and vegetables really goes a long way as far as getting the vitamins and supplements that you need. Really, just as far as our false advertising, just be wary if something sounds too good to be true. A lot of times it is, and a lot of times they'll get called out on that, but not usually as fast as we would like. Independent quality verification, if you haven't heard of that before, that's probably the number one thing I recommend to people when they're picking out vitamins is just look for that little USP sticker on it. Once you kind of know it's there, it's pretty easy to spot. But there are also other independent quality verifications that you can look at. Consumer Lab, you can just go to a website and find out everything that they've looked at. But really, those seals are easy to spot once you're kind of out on the shelves looking for products. Again, it's not a guarantee that the vitamin does anything, but I really like to say it's a guarantee that you're getting what you're paying for, at least. And then again, it's always a good idea to talk to a healthcare provider before starting or even stopping a vitamin. So lastly, don't be afraid to talk to us about, vitamin supplement products. A lot of times I learn a lot of things or discover new questions to look into when people ask me about vitamin and supplement products. And then you guys probably know this by now. I'm pretty vigilant about reminding people to keep their medication list updated. And if you are using vitamin and supplement products, do be sure that you are adding those on your medication list as well. So references. So I will open it up for questions now.
And I have a microphone, so I'll come around so everybody can hear the question. Oh, I'm making my way up front here. We'll get you.
Back up here.
Thank you. On your slide for more information on vitamins, you gave different websites, and it was too small to read.
Oh, yeah, those are just general. So those aren't even hyperlinked. Those are just kind of what came up when I looked. But if you just Google, like FDA vitamins or National Institutes of Health vitamins, these show up right away.
I'll read them to you if anybody wants to write them down. It's fda.gov. The next one is ods.od. Is that right?
Yeah, OD.
.nih.gov. I'll do that one again. ods.od.nih.gov. And then the last one is fdc.nal.usda.gov. All right, thank you. All right, other questions? All right.
If you're taking errands too, and you take a vitamin pill, you're way over on some things. What do you do about that?
I would just look it over. So if you're taking like an AREDS 2 and a multivitamin, a lot of times they both contain the same thing. So you might not need the multivitamin on top of that. Or if there's a specific supplement that you're looking for on top of that, you can just buy that separately.
But there's a whole lot of things in a multivitamin that you aren't getting if you only take the eye vitamin. A whole lot.
Yeah, and a lot of those you can buy separately. And
Yeah, but you'd have to buy like 20
sure.
things. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and maybe there are like specific ones that you're after or specific ones that your healthcare provider can recommend to you to kind of help narrow it down.
I was going to say, I take a multivitamin, and the last time I went to my doctor, she's like, Vicki, I don't think you need a multivitamin. I needed vitamin B and I need vitamin D. And she said, if I were you, I would just take those two and not take the multivitamin. So like Ellen was saying, ask your doctor, what are the ones that I need? Because I doubt you're deficient in all of those areas that a multivitamin does, but
I'm also 83 years old.
well, right, but that doesn't mean you're deficient in everything either. And then why, like she said, why take, something that you don't really need? It's just an idea, but if they do the AREDS, I get that. That's for your eye health. If you want to, try figure out now. The components of a multivitamin, if she is getting more than what is recommended, are there consequences?
Not always. And so that's always, again, why it's a good idea to run it by a healthcare provider. You can take like 1,000% of your daily value of vitamin C, and that's fine. You'll usually just urinate out the extra. But, we talked about vitamin E, we talked about iron. There are some that can have, more significant side effects or, especially iron, we don't want to take too much of.
I did that, and the doctor suggested taking multivitamin every other day.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Right. Well, you can ask the question, and if you have my chart, you can send them a message online, and maybe when they have a little bit more time to think about it, or, talk to your pharmacist when you go in. Maybe they would be able to also know your medications and give you a better question to direct towards your physician, or might make a
because
recommendation.
different multivitamins are also focused on different vitamins. If you get a woman's one, that's more, calcium, vitamin D heavy, whereas a men's one has a little bit different vitamins, whereas, a general one has a little bit different vitamins. So there might be a specific product too that somebody knows of that's good for you.
I have a couple of questions of things that are kind of new, which one, or at least new to me, would be amino acids. I mean, it seems like people are taking those, I don't know if they're for weight loss or what. And I don't know how they're different than enzymes. Is there, and then another thing is collagen, because that's been pushed lately a lot and sounds good, but, and especially, especially for the elderly, because they say your body doesn't produce as much when you're older, and thus we have the wrinkles and the everything else. So I'm just wondering about that.
Yeah, so I was actually about this close to including a slide on collagen specifically because I do get asked about it so much, but we just found so little information on collagen that I really wasn't comfortable sharing that with this group. So I guess that's my answer is there's just not enough information out there to make any kind of determination about it. Amino acids is new for me. I haven't been asked about that one. What do you think, Courtney?
I haven't told much about it.
Okay. Yeah, we'd have to look into that, but I'm sure you can find it on this NIH website, and they can tell you if there's any information where to find it.
And ask your physician.
Yes.
All right. Tim, do you have any questions from online? Oh, I could barely hear you, but I think you said no. All right. Oh, there is a question over here.
You stressed ask your physician. I would like to change that, ask your pharmacist, because they understand the interrelationships of drugs and these things better than most physicians, particularly if you're using two different physicians and then the only actual tie together is your pharmacist.
Yeah, we like to think we're the most accessible as well. So yeah, definitely don't hesitate to ask.
Well, and the only reason I said physician, because I'm assuming you're no different than probably most pharmacists if you weren't really versed on amino acids. So maybe that would be a question to put towards them. But yes, the pharmacists are very, very knowledgeable. So other questions? You guys covered a lot of great information, so you probably answered a lot of questions just with the presentation. All right. Oh, here's a question.
I have to go through your notes here so I can find my notes. One was, is third-party tested the same as these stamps of approval that they have?
Yeah, so that's why, like, when you see those commercials for Nature Made, you know, they always say #1 pharmacist recommended, and it's really not because there's anything special about Nature Made vitamins. It's because they went through the time and money to do this independent quality verification or third-party testing. So most pharmacists feel pretty comfortable recommending those as opposed to, you know, like Hy-Vee brand, which could be, you know, doesn't have that same kind of quality verification. So because they have to pay for it, sometimes those vitamins are a little bit more expensive. But again, I usually recommend it because then you at least know that you're getting what you're paying for and someone's kind of overseeing that company.
Okay. I question, what fruits do you get iron from? Because in your vitamins and foods, and it gave iron and calcium and different sources, getting them naturally. It said red meat, poultry, eggs, fruits. And I was just curious, what fruits do you get iron from?
That's a great question. I don't have any specifically right here, but
stuck out to me because I thought
no,
iron
you're good.
from a fruit.
But yeah, I usually think red meat, beans, and green leafy vegetables are really good sources of iron.
Maybe they're defining fruit differelly.
Yeah, maybe maybe it's one of those like scientific versus nutritional definitions.
Okay, and what is chelation?
Chelation is that is a therapy for I believe removing iron from your body, and currently it's only prescription only. So if you see a vitamin offering that, that should be an immediate red flag because there are no over-the-counter products for that.
So I Googled what fruits have iron. This says it's what fruit is high in iron: avocado, strawberries, watermelon, raisins, dates, figs, prunes, dried apricots, and dried peaches are iron-rich foods.
Yeah, everyone thinks of avocado as a,
Yeah.
I guess technically.
Well, I mean, I think, I don't know, I'm surprised by that. I don't know about everybody else, but all right. Any other questions? Got the experts here. Now's the time to ask.
Oh, I was going to say, I've got my email here too. I'm happy to answer questions. If you think of something later, feel free to shoot me an email. This is my work email, so I might not answer it right away, but we will get to it and look into it for sure.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much, Courtney and Ellen. Wonderful presentation. Lots of great information. Thank you for coming in and joining us today, everyone. I'm just going to give them some information here quick. Please fill out your evaluation, and that you can leave them on the table up right where you came in. Our next program actually is a fall risk screening, Tuesday, October 8th. You need to sign up. You need to go through our website. There's a phone number that you need to call to sign up for that if you're interested. And then that is at the new 60 Forward Center. And then Wednesday, October 9th at 2 p.m., again at the 60 Forward Center, is the Best Life, Best Death Conversations about what matters most. So our October through December programs will be mailed out this week. This October 9th program had originally been scheduled September 25th and was on your last listing of programs you got. And it was supposed to be at the 60 Forward, and then the opening got delayed. So that's why that one got pushed back to October 9th. So you need to pay careful attention to your listing of programs when you sign up, because programs will be either held here or at the 60 Forward Center. We are embracing the 60 Forward Center, using it as a way to be able to offer more education in our community. So I will be at all the programs here. I won't necessarily be down at all the ones at the 60 Forward Center, but they're falling under the umbrella of Primetime Alive. So we have a lot of different departments that are embracing this opportunity. They're going down there to do programs, and we wanted to be able to make sure that it was offered and our Primetime Alive members knew about it as well. Give us a little transition with that. You know, it's a new building, it's different technology down there, it's new and different people giving presentations, which I know they will do a great job. And we're very excited about partnering with Heartland of Story County as well as the city of Ames to offer programming down there. So thank you for coming today, everyone. Like I said, please fill out your evaluation. Give us ideas on other topics or presenters you'd like to hear from, and you can drop those off in the back of the room. Thank you for joining us.